Hey folks, thank you for watching Texas Cooking Today. Before we get into this dish, I want you to know that my recipes can be found at my website. That's S.A.Trotter.com. That's where I sell my services, my recipes, my products for Texas Cooking Today, caps, aprons, all kinds of really cool stuff. So take a look at that, and thank you very much. Oh, that link is in the description box right under this. And so please enjoy this recipe. Oh, it's a tasty one. You're gonna love it. Oh boy, that's what I'm talking about right there, folks. Well, it looks like I have everything I need. This is a very simple dish. As you've seen from the title, this is scalloped potatoes. And scalloped potatoes are not hard. They are delicious though. When it's cooked up just right, done just the right way. Oh folks, this is one of the most delightful little dishes you'll ever get to enjoy. Now I have a way of doing scalloped potatoes that, well, I think bumps the flavor up a lot. And there's extra things that you can do, spices and things like that, additions. You just got to come up with them on your own. I'm going to give you a fantastic basic scalloped potato recipe though, for you to take and use and expand and build on. So very simple ingredients I have here. And before we get into this though, and I'm talking about the word recipe, recently I posted a video, chocolate chip cookies, and I had one of my viewers respond to me with the words, "I will sue you soon." And then he responded 6 hours later by saying, "I will see you in court soon." Now, I don't like people threatening me or anybody else, and I certainly don't take it lying down. Now here's the thing, folks. Recipes are not in and of themselves copyrightable. Okay, now understand something. I deal with copyrights on a daily basis. I have tens of thousands of copyrights. Okay, I've got more copyrights than you can imagine. And the thing of it is you know, you get your copyrights through the Library of Congress. They're $30 for one, or you can do a batch for 60, and that's like, I think 2,000. All right? Copyrights are not hard to get. They just take the paperwork and the proper application. All right? Now, I want to say something about recipes. Recipes in and of themselves are not copyrightable. The Library of Congress will not copyright a recipe. So this gentleman, his name was Juan, who wrote to me, and you'll see that on my chocolate chip videos. You can see it in the comments. Juan wrote to me, and as I mentioned, I wrote back to make it clear to him that, look, you can't claim a recipe as yours. Now, you see, this is a book. You write a book, it's copyrighted. Before you even get the copyright law already applies to it, okay? However, if it's like this and it's a recipe book, this book is filled with recipes. It's a good one too. I love this book. It's all about Texas recipes. And in this, there's a recipe for chili con queso. Now that recipe's been used in Texas since I was born. You take a can of Rotel tomatoes, a medium onion, you cook them together, you add the Velveeta cheese to it, and boom, you have a cheese dip we call chili con queso. That's in this book. Now, if I use that, or if I give it like I just did here, it's not a violation of the copyright of this book, because the recipes in this book, in and of themselves, are not copyrightable. This, as a group, is a work of art. All right, she did a beautiful job writing this book. But the recipes in it, by themselves, as a standalone thing, are not copyrighted. They never have been, and they won't be, and the Library of Congress will not. I've already checked into this. This is what I do for a living, remember? So, Juan, sorry to tell you, buddy, you can go ahead and sue me if you want, but you ain't going to get anything because the copyright law's on my side. Now, my video that I put up for those chocolate chip cookies, that is copyrighted, all right? And it's covered under copyright law. If somebody else takes that video and posts it on their channel and plays the whole thing out only for the purpose of them making profit on just that, then that's a violation of copyright. However, let's say if the media gets a hold of that video and they piece it apart and then they do commentary on it, showing you parts of the video. That's not copyright infringement. That's fair use. So if nothing else, if somebody took a recipe and just used it, that's fair use, ladies and gentlemen. All right? It's not copyrightable. And the next thing is that recipe, by the way, was on the back of every Nestle package ever produced. All right? And the thing of it is Nestle doesn't have it copyrighted either because it wasn't a copyrightable item. The name Toll House is a registered trademark. Okay, so it's protected. But the chocolate chip cookie itself, nah. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. We will get on to making this. Thank you for putting up with that. And please take a look at the chocolate chip thing after you finish looking at this, okay? Let's take a look at my ingredients here, and we'll get busy making this fantastic, tasty dish. Our ingredients are very simple. Potatoes. Now, you know you buy those bags of potatoes and you get these. You get those runts, and you're like, well, what do I do with those? Hey, look, this is the perfect dish for it because look at that. That's the perfect diameter to make little round potatoes for this dish. Okay. Also, we're going to be using cheese. I've got some Parmesan cheese here. I have some salt and I have some heavy cream. We'll be using the heavy cream and salt and cheese to flavor basic potatoes, folks. This is such a simple, easy thing to do. Now, the second thing I want to mention, and we see them right here, our dish that we use. I've got different dishes. Now, you could just use a big square or round baking dish or a rectangular one, whatever. You can use a big dish to dip out of for people's plates, or I like doing stuff like this. I always think it's fun. That is a large single serving. That is a small single serving of au gratin. And this is a double serving or a double single serving, however you want to see it. These are different ways of doing a really cool au gratin dish. So I want you to consider things like that. Sometimes they make life easier. It also certainly makes refrigeration of the remaining portions really easy because you wrap them up, refrigerate them, and they're ready to reheat at any time. All right, cheese. I always like to do my own grating. I like the quality of the cheese freshly grated. The way it melts, the way it handles, the way it feels. So the next thing I need to take care of is also simple. It's just peeling potatoes. Some folks like to do potatoes skin on. I have never seen a skin on au gratin. I'm pretty sure it can be done. I don't know what it would be like. But hey, you know, that's the thing about experimentation in the kitchen. As you just get to have fun with it, try something out, and it either works or it doesn't. Normally, this is the time that I would get busy with a knife and just slice these things up in nice little round pieces. Okay, but this time I decided I wanted to show you something. And a lot of people have these, but there's many more that do not. And I wanted to express a couple of things about it. This little guy is called a mandolin, what I'm about to pull up here. A mandolin is, and we're not talking about the instrument, okay? We're not talking about the musical instrument. A mandolin for cooking is something that slices vegetables and fruits and pretty much anything you want. It'll slice it at different levels. It'll also do scalloped cuts, and it'll make fries and cross cuts and things. And so they're really quite amazing machines. This one is made by a company that produces a lot of kitchen gadgets, and it's really a cool one. I'm not going to sell their brand though, because it doesn't mean that much to me. But what I'm going to do here is get myself a cut that's going to be just about what I want, which is about 1/4 inch thick. 3/16 is also kind of nice too. Either will work good for a scalloped potato. But there's one thing I want to warn you about: the blade on these things. These are not kid friendly. Please don't let your kids play with one of these, because these blades right here will take off a whole lot of finger really, really fast, okay? And I've seen a lot of professional chefs even get hurt with these things. And they always do it for two reasons. Number one, they're not paying attention, and number two, they're not using the food handle, which is this guy. You put the food onto this, okay? There's these little prongs up in here, okay? And the food fits right on there. And then you can take the food without getting your hands near that blade and just go through it. All right, that's how that works. And then when we look underneath, we have beautifully scalloped potatoes. That's exactly what I'm wanting. Now, maybe I want mine a little thicker than that, so I am going to go ahead and increase it to the thicker setting. And sometimes you'll get a little piece of potato left over. That's not a problem, folks. Just take it and work it on through there. All right. So that's how that works. Now, the one thing, never, even if you see a professional chef doing this, don't mimic it, because eventually you're not going to pay attention and there goes part of your finger. And that's just the way it works. Now, with knives also, knives are that way too. Knives will take off a finger so fast. It's unbelievable. And they're dangerous in the kitchen, you know. There's a lot of dangers in any kitchen, whether it be getting burned or what have you. All right. Okay, this is so simple. What we're going to do is we're going to line our ramekins with these potatoes on edge. And something else, when we get a few potatoes in there, we're not packing it, okay? Okay, so our next maneuver, very simple, is cheese. Now, you can use any cheese you want, but I find a very sharp, salty cheese is really the way to go. And look what I'm doing. I'm opening up the layers on those potatoes, letting some of that cheese fall in behind them. I want the cheese in between is what I'm wanting, because we're going to make a wonderful little cheese and cream sauce. That sounds tasty, doesn't it? It's kind of hard to go wrong with these kinds of flavors. Go in with the cream. This is where we use heavy cream. Oh, that is just delightful. Oh, look at that. Oh, folks, we're talking just delightful right there. Okay, now I went ahead and started my oven. It's preheating to 350 degrees. Now this is a neat dish, folks, because everything I'm doing right here can be done in advance. Let's say I do this an hour in advance of my ready time for a meal, okay? And that way I'm busy working on other dishes while these are just sitting there waiting to be baked. Okay, so that when I do start cooking, I can throw these in the oven, get them baked, and then move right on. Now, how do you know when it's ready? Very simple. It's going to be brown on top, and it's going to be soft. The potatoes will, if you slide a fork into them, they'll be nice and soft. And that's one of the cool things about cooking potatoes this way. They get very soft, very tender, and absolutely wickedly delicious. Now, I thought about this, and I thought about, okay, I can put these on the upper rack and slide this under it, and they'll bake really nice that way. But also I thought about handleability. What if I've got one of y'all that has like 6 or 8 of these things? Okay, so let's do it this way. We'll do this with these on the baking sheet this time. I'll put them right into the middle rack. Handleability. There we go. Now, as far as how long it takes, well, it takes them as long as it takes them. So, I'm going to help you out. We're going to use a count up timer. And as soon as those are bubbly and brown and beautiful and just what they need to be, I'll pull them out of the oven. We'll look at the time, and we'll have a really good down low on this. Now, the reason I say the time is going to change is because a little ramekin like that is going to cook a whole lot way faster than a big casserole dish packed full. Or one of those au gratin dishes. They'll take a little longer to cook too. So it depends on the dish, the quantity, altitude, so many variables. And this is part of just this kind of cooking. You're cooking without a recipe. What I'm teaching you here is how to go through the steps of making a type of dish. Very simple. Give it time, wait, and enjoy life. It has been about 23 minutes of baking, and I went ahead and took a look at these, and they are coming right along, ladies and gentlemen. So let me get a focus on that guy there. Huh? There we go. Oh, look at that. Those are looking really beautiful. And so they're not brown yet, but they're puffed up, they're bubbly, and they're getting there. I'm just gonna close this and give it a little more time. Okay, folks, my timer right here at 34 minutes. And I just looked at those a couple of minutes ago. They were just beginning to develop a little brown on top. So now they should have a nice even brown coating. We also know that this recipe takes, what, about 35 minutes to make. In a ramekin at least. It might be longer in something else or shorter, depending. Right. Oh, absolutely perfect. Oh, now I want to say this, the tray was really smart because right here on this side, and you'll take a look at it, you can see where it dripped over a little bit, and so that would have made a mess in the bottom of the oven. But beautiful, beautiful ramekins right there, folks. Let's take a close-up of those. Yeah. Oh boy, that's what I'm talking about right there, folks. Just gorgeous, aren't they? You can see where it bubbled over just a little bit right there. Not a problem, because you had a pan to catch it. And we have 3 gorgeous little ramekins filled with a beautiful potato surprise. Something to enjoy. You know, I've been sitting here enjoying this for a bit. I can say this, it's worth your time. These potatoes break apart real easy. They're soft. The sauce it makes, cheesy, thick, rich, delicious, and possibly some of the best potatoes you'll ever get to have. So definitely try this recipe. Thank you very much for watching. My website, S.A.Trotter.com, that's in the description box below if you would. Please take a look at that. That's where I sell my recipes and also my artwork and my services and a lot of other stuff. So please take a look. Got neat things there. And please enjoy this recipe. It's definitely worth your time. You're gonna love every bit of it. I do.